The omnipotent, omniscient God is acutely aware of every facet of your life, down to the most intricate detail. Each pulsating beat of your heart resonates with His knowledge, His insight into your truest, most profound priorities. God can discern the shape and character of your desires even before they've fully formed in your own mind. It's the gospel that professes, "Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." God not only understands where your treasure is, but is intimately involved in its placement. He recognizes the realms in which your growth is needed, those areas where your glorification of Him shines brightly, and the battles where your victory is imminent. In the course of my own spiritual journey, I've come to understand that God, in His infinite wisdom, often navigates us through varying trials, through unique situations and circumstances. At times, this labyrinthine journey might seem without purpose or meaning. However, it is often His divine way of mirroring our hearts to us, for we, as humans, are sometimes blind to our own nature. Regardless of our best intentions or self-proclaimed awareness, we often fail to see the breadth and depth of our own hearts. God knows us inside out, far better than we know ourselves. He ushers us through the peaks and valleys of life, each with its unique purpose and lesson. Indeed, at the culmination of a trial, or in the wake of an extraordinary experience, or amid the ebbs and flows of everyday existence, we often find ourselves at a crossroads of revelation. In these moments of profound realization, we are offered a rare glimpse of our lives from an exterior perspective. It's like standing outside a glass house and peering in. You see yourself as never before. Perhaps it's the unveiling of a long-hidden sin, or the revelation of a space where you've grown exponentially. There's a moment of awakening where you exclaim, "Wow, I hadn't realized the spiritual growth I've achieved through my journey with Jesus." These moments are God's gentle nudges, steering us towards self-awareness. They're reminders that God yearns for us to understand our spiritual position, our place in the divine scheme. God desires for us to be cognizant of His wisdom, and these moments of realization are His gentle guideposts along the path. Consider a time when you've recognized a negative trait within yourself, say selfishness. Upon this revelation, it's all too easy to recoil, to retreat into a shell of self-condemnation, fearing God's displeasure or anger. You might shudder at the thought, "God witnessed my selfishness. Is He disappointed? Is He upset?" But in reality, it is God who has illuminated this flaw to you. He knew of it all along. Far from being angered, He is the patient teacher, the kind parent, the loving shepherd who nudges you towards realization, guiding you down the path of self-improvement and ultimately towards a deeper, richer relationship with Him. It is His grand design for our spiritual growth and our journey towards an enlightened understanding of ourselves. God's profound knowledge of us is not a hammer of judgment, but a beacon of guiding light. And in His illuminating presence, we find our true selves, and in the process, come ever closer to Him. Indeed, your heart is an entity of its own, a profound element of your being that houses the whispers of your soul, and indeed, God is in communion with it. He is a patient observer, never startled by the beats of your heart or the depths of your actions. The divine wisdom isn't a stranger to your follies or your triumphs. Rather, He is the omnipotent architect who guides you through the labyrinth of life. See, when we stumble and falter, it isn't that God has just uncovered our weaknesses, it's that He is illuminating these crevices in our character to our consciousness. A signal, an urging, a kind reminder that there are spaces within us that call for healing, nurturing, and improvement. And this knowing, this realization is not solely His, but it must also become yours. For He is not a puppeteer, and we are not His marionettes. We operate not under His forceful hand, but within the realm of our own free will. So when adversity knocks at your door, when life presents you with trials, do not cower in fear or feel the sting of guilt, assuming that you have revealed a new, flawed side of you to Him. Do not perceive this as a cause for God's disappointment or dismay. Instead, Understand that He already possesses the knowledge of your entire being, and you are merely catching up to His comprehension. Acknowledge that you are an eternal student, perpetually late to the lesson, always learning and evolving. Recognize the value in these trials, these lessons. Don't hastily flee from them. Instead, let's move forward, carrying the wisdom gained. Use these experiences as stepping stones, not as stumbling blocks. Understand this: God does not reveal your weaknesses to belittle you or push you into despair. He does not expect you to buckle under the weight of your own growth. That's not the nature of the God we worship. We are the children of a God who whispers, "Look, here are the corners within you that need mending, and I promise you, I will guide you along this path of transformation." In my own journey, I have seen this divine love in action. God gently presented to me the magnitude of my love for Jesus, like a mirror reflecting the depths of my devotion back to me. He allowed me to retrospectively traverse through the corridors of my life, acknowledging the changes I've undergone, the growth I've fostered, and the various facets of my existence that have evolved over time. And it became evident that the root cause, the catalyst of all this change, was Jesus. He already knew the intensity of my love for Him. However, it was crucial that I became aware of this love too. He understands the inner workings of our hearts, and sometimes we need that divine intervention to comprehend the depths of our own emotions. Personally, I've often found myself being overly critical, berating myself for perceived shortcomings and for not doing enough. But through this journey, I've realized that it's not about the magnitude of our actions, but the intensity of our devotion and love for Him. Our hearts are in constant communication with God, and we must learn to listen, understand, and act on the gentle prompts we receive. This is a lifelong journey, a dance of growth and self-discovery under the watchful, loving gaze of God. Immersed in the divine dance of faith, one comes to realize that God holds a profound interest in ensuring our cognizance of the depth of our love for Him. As a beacon of omnipresent love, He revels in our devotion, mirroring it back to us, fostering a celebration of our spiritual journey. Recently, a distinct experience emphasized a certain truth for me while I engaged in a newfound hobby: gardening, an unexpected blessing from life itself. As I delved into the basics of plant care and the cycles of nature, I found my respect for life itself growing. Though I've always been keenly aware of the importance of all life forms, it was in the garden, hands deep in soil, that I came to realize a more profound level of reverence. It felt like stepping into a world I thought I understood, only to find out it was far more complex. This surprising insight made me pause and think, why has my respect for life grown so intensely? God, in His infinite wisdom, unveiled the answer. The burgeoning freedom that I was beginning to experience was the key. Feeling His unerring protection cocooning me, I discovered a new liberty, a freedom to make mistakes, to be unabashedly myself, and to trust in Him unreservedly. My confidence in Jesus and my self-assuredness surged. This newfound liberation within God's embrace had fueled my ability to love Him with greater intensity. Feeling unchained and embraced by God's love, I ventured into circumstances that once seemed daunting. Previously, fear would have fettered me, keeping me from the profound moments that were now unfolding before me. But emboldened by God's protection, I stepped into these experiences, allowing myself to fall even deeper in love with Him. The transformation was tangible, and as my freedom within Christ blossomed, I found my actions, my life, and my perceptions unshackled. I felt more secure, less threatened by the shadow of anxiety that had once loomed over me. This liberation acted as a catalyst, sparking an exponential growth in my love for God, and in turn, revealing Him in a novel, radiant light. I found myself falling for Him all over again, yet in a way that was far more profound. This revelation was both enlightening and exhilarating. A powerful biblical allegory unfolded before me in this realization. The episode of Peter denying Jesus thrice, only to be asked by Jesus, "Peter, do you love me?" 3 times, resonated deeply. Each time Peter responded, his affirmative was unwavering. "Yes, Lord, you know I do." I was similarly echoing Peter's affirmation, but the experience was underscored by a new understanding. God, in his omniscience, already knew the depth of my love, yet much like Peter, he wanted me to recognize it, to experience the gravity of my devotion. This profound revelation imparted to me by God was humbling and transformative. As I traversed through the journey of faith, the knowledge that God already knows the depth of our love, yet desires us to experience it in its fullness, is truly captivating. We are continually drawn into this beautiful dance of love with God, where each step deepens our understanding, strengthens our bond with Him, and allows us to fall in love over and over again in an ever-deepening spiral. In an act that was, on the surface, inexplicably simple yet profoundly intimate, Jesus asked Peter thrice if he loved him. This wasn't for Jesus' benefit, for he was already privy to the depths of Peter's heart. Rather, it was for Peter himself. In that moment of utter vulnerability, when Peter was confronted with his denial of Jesus, he must have felt like he was being unraveled from the inside out. An experience so intense, so overwhelming, that words seem to buckle under the weight of trying to describe it. Imagine acknowledging you've denied Christ, feeling that overwhelming guilt. A troubling thought, isn't it? Yet remember, we are human, prone to err. Peter also erred, denying Jesus, but his love for Christ was boundless, a fact Jesus knew. Christ wanted Peter to understand that his denial didn't define him. His identity was determined by Jesus' perception of him, beyond his human flaws. This can be a transformative revelation. It urges us to seek God's guidance in our lives. Yearn for growth, feeling complacent. Ask God to illuminate your path, provide insights. Struggling with self-doubt, going through tough times. Beseech God to help you see yourself through His eyes. He wishes for you to comprehend His perception of you, fostering an understanding of your true self, separate from your fallacies. Awareness is the first step. Next, face challenges. When troubles arise, stay calm, ask what God wants you to learn, and incorporate these lessons into your life. A heartfelt thank you to Thomas O'Donnell, Bob Boot, and Stella Chandler for your outstanding generosity. Your support breathes life into my channel. To all Super Thanks donors, each contribution, large or small, echoes in the success of our community. I wish I could name you all. I'm deeply grateful, always. Let's progress, embracing our trials, renewing our purpose. This introspective journey may be tough, but the rewards are immense. I hope this message guides you on your self-discovery and spiritual growth journey, offering comfort. Like the video and type Amen if you trust in the Lord. Click the link in the description to discover a limited-time special offer on a life-altering technique designed to help you manifest God's blessings.